Yeah, I like that energy. These guys are gonna love that. They usually do it in a basement alone, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. But thanks for coming, and I give you Ursula.
My name is Ursula Seiker. I am the Director of Partnerships with Mees. We are a recipe management software that also has a podcast media network, of which Industry Only at Cheese Store is a part of. So this is our first ever live taping. We are so excited to be hosting it, and I want to introduce you to your hosts of the evening, Andy and Dom.
All right, so we are at Pijja Palace, which is where Industry Only officially started. It was the first venue that we put on any flyer when we decided to do this for real. The crazy thing that Avish and I talk about sometimes is the first time we did this party, it was a free-for-all. We had no idea what we're doing. There were no sponsors. There's nobody to call for help. We just showed up and threw a potluck. Since then, I mean, some things have happened. Like he's become an Eat a Restaurant of the Year. He and his team have been nominated for James Beard Awards. Let's bring Avish because he's the reason that we're here. Now to the fun part. Maybe 2+ years ago, you couldn't come to a party that we were throwing at Joint Seafood, and you suggested that we had a party here. Our only really interaction at that point is that you had a new restaurant that was cool, getting some attention. And I wrote a piece. And the thing that I saw that we talked about immediately is that you were influenced by people, like Justin and Anajak, right? You saw what Kat and John were doing at Yangban. Those were similar things. Those were happening in parallel to you. But before that, there were things like Kogi, right? So, tell me a little bit about growing up in LA and what the actual influences are.
I think you're dead on with that. On Animal for sure, and then Kogi as well, both huge influences. I don't even think I thought cooking was cool until Roy Choi and Eddie Wong popped out into the scene. This was more of a utility career for me, as opposed to an art form.
Well, it wasn't cool.
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't. I agree. I think there are some people who kind of made it cool, like Wolfgang, obviously. Nobody works the dining room like him.
Right.
There's some folks who kind of made it cool, but I don't think there was too many ethnic people who made it cool.
Yeah. And I think the thing that you're alluding to, right, is that obviously when you come from immigrant families, the previous generation, a lot of them got into hospitality because they had zero fucking choice. This is just what they did. And I think you, like a lot of other people that we talk about all the time, recognize that it's a burden and a weight to do this, as the generation that comes after this, but it's also a privilege, right? So talk about the fact that you can think of yourself as a creative director and not just an owner as a chef, but probably in your mom and dad's generation, they'd be like, what does that even mean, right? You just do the work you need to do to survive.
You're right. I think things have changed since then. They own this motel. They did this mostly to provide for us, but I have the privilege of getting to do this to provide for my family, but also because it's fun. It's fun to hang out with all of you. I've been put in a position where I get to make things, and people like them, or enough people like them, where I get to do cool things like this. I think that's kind of cool.
Dom, it's a big deal to get you to go to Silver Lake. You've been here twice. Tell me your thoughts about being here, and then yeah.
I'll say this. So the first time I actually came here was a couple of years ago. It was my first industry-only party. And I was first of all, I was blown away by it was crazy. The parking lot was nuts. Everything was crazy. There was pizza, there was everything.
How long did it take you to get here?
Well, probably just a lot, about an hour and 20 minutes.
How much did it cost to Uber Eats?
We
your own
stopped
food
twice because
today?
Jay has a small bladder.
Yeah.
But no, it is kind of crazy. There's really no real way to get here from, Beverly Hills for sure. I mean, Westwood it's even harder. But and we were just saying coming to this side of town, it's really different for us. We're not it's I don't know. It's there's a lot of different cuisine that we're not really used to. And I know I make it sound like it's miles apart, but it really is, because you take one street here, you really don't get on the freeway. But I'll never forget the first time, I remembered the smell when I first walked into this place the first time. And when I smelled it again today coming in, I was like, holy cow. And plus, doing what you're doing with that blend of cuisine and influence, I don't know, I feel like I took a risk moving a cheese store from 4 blocks away, but it was still a cheese store. You just started doing American, Indian, Italian, it takes balls to do something like that.
I mean, you just
that's
said
to me
it,
is
so.
I said it, yeah. but like that's a big deal, and to come out and do it and with like guns blazing is amazing. And plus you threw the American influence in there and you attach a sports bar to it. That's pretty crazy.
I appreciate it a lot. A couple things. I was the first to do this, so the lineage that I come from, I got to give credit to them. And then also I got a great team. Like without people like Miles, without people like Justin, Dan, who's back there right now, like this place would not be shit. If it was me and not with them, without these people, you would never come. You probably would never not. You would never be here.
Yeah, let's give yourself some credit though, right? Look, Indian American pizza, like you can get it all over the Bay Area. You can get it in many places that are within LA County. But I think the thing that people were really latching onto, right, is like there wasn't this sports bar vibe, right? There wasn't this thing that, for better or worse, reminded some people of like being at John and Vinny's. And we've talked about how they're an influence, so that part makes sense, right? There wasn't the attitude of like, okay, well, this is a place where you can just also watch the Dodgers games. There wasn't a fucking chef who cooked at Roberta's, right? There wasn't a guy who like decided like, I'm going to go stodge in these fine dining kitchens, right? And spend my money like eating and learning about this before reacting to the fact that I don't want to do food like that. I want to do this. So how do you get from, being all these other people, an LA kid, a kid who, studied fine dining, a kid who realized that you really loved Indian food, to doing this version of it?
It's a good question. Obviously, it comes from, like, first and foremost, like, culturally, this is not something that our people do. There aren't too many people my age doing Indian food around. I think that another group of people who came before me, like Arjun and Knuckle at Budmash, like if they weren't around, I don't know that there would be a Pijja Palace either.
Right.
I think that they helped they helped pave the way for me to be able to do this seriously. I also just think that, like, man, there are just some kids that like can't be doctors or engineers or lawyers. Like, it's just not for them. And like just the entrepreneurial spirit just burns within.
Well, I mean, going back to Roy Choi, right? Like he once told me once, right, that he goes around Koreatown, right, and he sees all these different elders, and they understand that he's crossed over to being something else. But he was just like, man, if I was just like a successful, like not even successful, like a mid-level accountant, more people would understand my shit, right?
Yeah.
So how does your Indian family, like how do your Indian friends like react to the fact, like, do they understand that you've created a curio without Preston, or are they just like, oh, he's the guy that we know that has the different kind of Indian restaurant?
I don't think that those things are mutually exclusive. I think that
that's great.
Yeah, I think they both of those things are true. But again, for a lot of ethnic people, at least Indian people, like this isn't a career that they, like, parents would choose for their child to do. So up until the point, like, it's like at least financially successful, it's a hard grind. Like, you look stupid for the first couple years, like pursuing a job like in the restaurant space.
Right.
Did you have to continuously convince them that you were working on the right thing?
No, you know what? I got great parents, phenomenal parents. I think dad kind of just always like supported me 110%. And then mom always gave me like enough pushback to make sure I really wanted it. But I could tell like viscerally that they were concerned about me choosing this path. Because like there weren't a lot of people that are brown who are crushing it before me, or really anybody other than Knuckle and Arjun. I mean, like,
right.
There were people from India.
Yeah, I mean, there are people in other cities, but certainly not in LA.
Definitely not
in
LA. I don't know where Floyd was born.
Right, but I mean, Floyd, Sujan. I mean, yeah, there were people that obviously like were doing this in New York, right?
Yeah, Sujan.
Right, and then obviously, there was that restaurant Devi. Obviously, there's all this stuff that was happening, but here, it was new. But again, remember, until 2008, when people were thinking about like quote unquote LA dining, it was what, like Wolfgang, Nancy, Suzanne Goen.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff started flipping in 2008, right?
Yep.
So I sort of want to have the interactive part of the conversation now. I'm just looking to the left. You can't see them, but Milton and Erica from Domestic Barbecue in Covina are here. I think they've been to all of the Pijja Palace parties. When you ask them what kind of food they do, they will just say it's California barbecue. And when you ask them the second question, you mean like Santa Maria style? California barbecue, they'll look at you and they don't have to say anything, but that's a look where it's like, no, go fuck yourself. We do something else, right? They do not do Texas style barbecue, right? They do not do Kansas City. They have created this own thing that they do, right? And it has obviously like LA flavors. It has Mexican influences. It has this wide range of all the things that just sort of blend in LA.
I'm curious if the lack of what feels like a true sports bar anywhere in most of like the highly populated in our demographic cities, I can't really think of a sports bar where I live that I go to and I'm excited about, and I can only think of just a smattering like throughout all of southern like LA proper. Was that vacuum something you wanted to film, or did it fill, or was it just like that was a fun thing that you enjoyed and you wanted it to be a part of this?
Yeah, definitely the second one. I didn't look at the landscape of dining and say like, oh, we're missing a sports bar. I fucking love this shit. I was talking to Baxter about first thing I saw, like when I saw him, like, yo, let's talk. What do you think about Malone getting fired? Like, I love this stuff. Like, I love talking about it. It just makes me so happy. Some of my like greatest, fondest memories as a child growing up were sports oriented. I didn't give a shit if there was a sports bar next to us. I'm opening up a sports bar because I fucking love sports bars.
Well, yeah, and then you do crazy stuff like this and you get recognition. So I guess we should talk about this a little bit. I mean, the Eat a Restaurant of the Year thing, obviously very cool. That is very much your right. Like at that point, like that's, Miles and the kitchen team, as much as you. But you yourself, you get in this piece, this list that Kate Crater, who used to be the food editor of Food and Wine, put together. She's now an editor at Bloomberg. And it's just about essentially the most influential people in creative industries. And I'm flipping through this thing. It's like Shabuzi, Avish from fucking Pijja Palace. So tell me about, like, you at least have to have thought about the fact, like, what is the cultural impact of your restaurant that gets you on lists like this, that then leads you to convince the fucking Observer to put me in my own list or whatever?
Dude, you know what? I don't know that I'm ever thinking about those things. But I don't know if that's probably not what you want to hear.
No, but when somebody calls you and says, yo, I'm putting you in this list, what's your reaction?
I'm kind of shocked because I'm still like a dipshit little kid that like fucking, again, I wanted to open up a sports bar for me.
Right.
I'm very happy that Kate and like the Observer and all the publications are starting to put me in business stuff, and I think you guys should continue to do so. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't think that we set out to ever do that. Dude, you know what? Another thing, like, I didn't even know if I was ever gonna have friends in the industry. Like, I remember like watching Viceland and being like, wow, this is so cool. Like, these guys from Munchies go to all these restaurants and like they get to eat at these places, and like they got all these folks, and now I got all you guys here, and it's like so cool.
That's why,
But dude, that's the magic.
Yeah,
that's the magic.
That's
He's
why
doing his thing.
That's why you have the basement at the cheese store, though. So talk about that, Dom. Yeah.
What I was gonna say, just real quick, just to parlay that, like, you're doing your thing, regardless.
Yeah.
And then when someone notices, okay, cool, but like you're doing you, and I think like that's the magic of it. Like, you're not doing something to cater to somebody else. He's his own person doing his own thing the way you want to do it. And if someone notices, great. If they don't, that's cool too, because you have a sick sports bar and you're chilling, right? Like, I feel like that's like, no, seriously though, like that's where the magic happens. And that's why, like, jumping on a trend or doing something like that, like, it's all bullshit, because at the end of the day, like, just be you, do you, and then it works. Like, and if it doesn't, that's fine too, but you're having fun. Like, you're doing your thing.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think that if whoever's watching this, like, just follow what you want to do.
Just my mom, I think.
Shout out to your mom, dude.
Yeah.
If you want to open up an Indian sports bar, you should do it too,
He's
mom.
got you.
Right. Yeah. I see very few Indian people here, but you should open an Indian sports bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, but the thing that I want though, right? Because I know that the industry is so hard, right? And you guys are sort of in the weeds, and I talk to all of you all the time, and it's like therapy, right? I want there to be other ways for you to thrive. So even if you don't quite understand it, I want you to understand that this recognition is important, and you should fight to get more, because when you fight to get more, you have things like Resi and InKind and me saying, hey, your thing is cool. We're going to pay for you to do an event, and you're not just grinding, doing the same thing every day.
I got people like you in my corner, though. I think that definitely helps.
Well,
like,
I'm sitting here too, bro.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for sending over this guy. We appreciate the pasta,
Sickest
brother.
intro ever.
Yeah.
No, but again, like I have great mentors. A lot of people in the business space who, like, this industry is hard for a lot of reasons, but not because I can't talk to any of you guys. Like, the people who came before me are so helpful.
Yeah.
Like, almost anybody I can ask like a financial question to, and they'll drop it. Like, they'll give me every information that I need to know to get better, to get Pijja Palace better.
Yeah. But there are friends that I know who look, they're I've been introduced to some of these people, but they're friends that I know that are prominent New York chefs, right? They know about your restaurant, obviously, right? Prominent New York operators, obviously, you've eaten with Shu, you've eaten with Scar. I know all that, but the things that I have told them about your restaurant, and I really want you to understand this, is you have always said that you wanted these people around, right? And I completely get that. You were one of the reasons I resurrected Industry Only, because you sent me this really nice text after 2 parties where I'm I don't know if I want to do the third one. We're I talked to Miles and the whole crew. You have to do it. These parties have opened up this whole world to me. You introduced me to this person, this person, this. I went from I have a text where I texted the chef in New York, and I just told her, you know how the two of us always talk about being unmoved? Avish and I are not sentimental people, but this is a thing that fucking moved me. Where I'm all right, fine. I'm going to do another fucking party because it actually matters to people like you, and people like you matter to the culture. And I think that's the part where the recognition matters, right? Because Leeway and I threw the first unofficial party before we started putting shit on flyers. I had a moment where I'm reading the LA Times last year, and it's Leeway Joint Seafood, the dried fish guy. I know a lot of you have seen him at the parties. He'd be here tonight, but he's in fucking Taiwan, where he may be trying to help me start a tea company. So it's lots of shit's happening right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just flipping through the LA Times, and it's the most influential creators. Shonda Rhimes. Okay, fine. Ryan Murphy. And then I'm just looking through it, and there's fucking Leeway, and literally everybody else runs Hollywood, right? And on one level, we know that this is ridiculous, but on another level, fucking own that shit.
Fair.
Right, and become that person, right? Because it's 5 years from now, I do not know if Shabuzi's going to have another hit single, but I believe that your restaurant will still be here, and you will have 3 other restaurants by then, right? So let's talk about that. The first time you and I ever spoke, you told me that you basically had a book with 12 restaurant ideas.
Working on it.
Yeah. What's happening next door, and what might happen after that?
We're working on it. Construction is going to take however long construction takes. Next door,
Twice as long as you think.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But tell people the name of it and what kind of food and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be called the Schezwan Club. We're doing Indian Chinese food. A bunch of Indian people migrated to China, and then they didn't have the kind of ingredients they needed to cook their type of food. And so they started cooking with Chinese ingredients. And the same also happened in Calcutta, where Chinese people couldn't cook with their stuff. It's that whole Nepalese Himalayan region, but we're also expanding out to Indonesia a little bit. We're doing Singaporean stuff. It's just, at the end of the day, the restaurants that I open are just shit that I think is going to go well together. And if people don't like it, then they can fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, 1 for 1. We'll take it, man.
When do you think it's going to open?
Did you go 2 for
Roughly,
2?
When would you?
Let's say 5 months. Yeah.
All right, so in 10 months from now, guys, Schezwan Club's going to open.
You've never been to the store, right?
No. I don't travel past
Whoa, I've been here
Western.
Oh, all right. See,
You've been here for an event.
We're flipping.
You've been here for what you're here for now.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, all right, good call. It's all right, it's a good call.
I
It's a
see
goal.
Jay Seals just
I'll take
laughing
it.
there because he's Dom has been on this side of the city twice. Once was to go to Salazar for our party. I really appreciate this. The second time was to come here, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's probably seen a brown guy twice.
Yeah.
The same amount of times.
All right. Oh, speaking of, all right, you know what? Speaking of brown guys, because he actually likes it when I call him this. Let's tell the Shoe Chowdery story, right? Or I'm going to tell a Shoe Chowdery story real quick, where Shoe Chowdery takes me to this restaurant. Shoe Chowdery, in some ways, is the greatest man about town when it comes just to restaurants in the whole country, but also all over the world. We are in London. We've already eaten this crazy meal at Gymkhana, the 2 Michelin Indian restaurant there. And he's I'm going to take you to a Thai restaurant. He takes me to a Thai restaurant called Speedboat. I immediately start giving him shit. I'm why am I at this Thai bar in London when you know I fucking live in LA? You're just going to you just want me to make fun of the food? Then I find out it's some Andy Ricker type story where it's some white guy who's actually the chef. I'm this is even going to get better. I take pictures of the food, and then I eat it, and the food's really good. And I post a photo of it. And the team from Holy Basil, arguably the best Thai restaurant in LA, Dell immediately emails me, what restaurant are you at? This food looks legit. Who's the chef? I'm yeah, it's really good. It's this place, Speedboat. He's well, what's the story of this place? And I'm yo, I have no fucking idea. A brown guy took me to white guy's Thai restaurant, and it's very, very good. And that's like Shu's favorite story that I've ever told about him. But there's an even better story involving you and Shu, because Shu used to have a company, and you attempted to intern with him, and tell me what happened.
Shu owned a point of sales company called Solida, okay? And this was back when I was in restaurant management school. Like, nobody gave a fuck about who I was or what I was doing or none of this shit. I was just a student trying to learn, trying to become better, trying to like enter this industry, like having a good, strong base of knowledge. So I sent him a couple of emails being like, hey, I'm this young kid. I'll work for fucking free. You don't even need to give me shit. Just like, and I'll do whatever the hell you want. I don't know what you can do with me, but I'll do whatever. I'll grind. Like, let me fucking work for you, Shu. Like, I'll do whatever. So we exchanged a couple emails, and then he like fucking ghosted my Indian ass. Ghosted. Okay. So then years go by. Pijja Palace opens. I have the privilege of meeting Andy. Do you want to take over the story from here?
No, keep going until you can't fill in blanks.
So Andy has his event at the Joint, and then I obviously couldn't make it to that, and then it looked like a ball. I was like, listen, man, I couldn't make it to that, but anytime you want to use my space, you're more than welcome to. A couple months later, he hits me up. He was like, hey, listen, were you serious about that? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this shit. So then he's like, yo, let's meet up in Chinatown. We'll go to Steep. Shout out to Steep. Go to Steep. Yeah. We went to Steep, had a little bit of tea, chopped it up for a little bit. And he's like, hey, listen, I got this guy that you need to meet, kind of like a fixer in the restaurant world. His name is Shu. I'm like, no, I know Shu. All right, I don't think you know Shu. I know Shu. Okay, this motherfucker ghosted me, and I showed him my email message to him as a young, like, kid in school just trying to learn, where he like completely ghosted me. And then a couple months later, he brings him to the restaurant, and then finally get to meet Shu.
One of the things that you said to me is that one reason you like having the parties is that it leads to meaningful interactions like that. Why was that interaction meaningful to you? Because to me, Shu's just this crazy fucking guy that I go eat with. But I guess to you, he represented something more than that, right?
Shu has a level of understanding in this industry that are like, it's hard to come across. Like, he just knows how to, through osmosis, I learn from him, right? Like, I can ask him any question I want about business, and he'll answer it for me. I think part of the relationship that I have with some of these people, like, you bring all these people together, but it's also up to us to like ask the right questions. With Shu, first of all, he took me on one of the fucking craziest nights I've ever been on in New York. I'm like, he's like, yo, you want to grab pizza? I'm like, yeah, I'll go grab pizza. Then we go to grab pizza. We're at Scar's Pizza. Scar fucking comes out. And
well,
he's
of course
like,
Scar comes out. That's the whole point.
He's never there when I was there in New York fucking 4 or 5 years ago. Scar comes out. I'm talking to him for like an hour. And then he's like, hey, we're going to Teresi. We're going to dip. And then Scar's like, fuck it, I'm going to drive you guys and I want to come with you.
You know that Teresi, and I mean, your fucking restaurant is near LA. You know Teresi has like 20x the Resi Notifies that Pijja Palace has? It's like
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fucking absurd. Look at the place.
Yeah.
It's a Carbone, guys. Like, and they were also there that night.
Of course
so
they were.
I sat. Shoes obviously got reserved space at the fucking bar. So we pull up to the bar, and then Mario and Rich come out, and they're like completely regular guys. Like, and I'm shitting bricks this whole fucking night.
They're regular guys in the context of your meeting them with Shu, though, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But they are regular guys in a lot of ways. I've known them for a long time too. But the reality is, you know, those guys, the thing that we always joke about, right? You hear about all these awards, all these things that don't matter. Those guys are the most successful restaurant group, you know, in New York City right now, arguably the world. I mean,
I think
certainly
outside
South
of New York
Florida.
City too.
Yeah. And they've never won a James Beard Award, right? But they've just sort of been just like crushing, doing their own thing. And the reason that I even brought up Shu is that I kind of feel like, Dom, that Shu's the reason you and I have this fucking podcast. So
Absolutely.
we can just make this the Shu appreciation episode and then eat some cheese. Because again, these things are just stream of consciousness odds.
You guys came to the basement.
Yeah, I mean, tell me what happened, because to this day, had I not brought him there, I don't think you talked me into this shit.
So a friend of ours that's a comedian, he fell asleep at a show.
Well,
that was the first.
well,
That was
no.
probably the first part, right?
Yeah, but his friend is very famous and it's viral, so you can just say that it's Sebastian.
you were in
because
that
Sebastian
video?
posted.
I wasn't. No, I don't fall asleep during the shows.
Yeah, did you see the little
I
guy
wasn't-
sitting
yeah.
next to Lindsey Vonn, Mario Carbone, and Shu?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Not
there.
me. But so he had
During
come
the
in.
fucking Super Bowl.
he had come in. You guys had come in, and we were kind of bullshitting. And I told Andy when he first interviewed me, I'm like, dude, like, we should just do a podcast. I think that would be like kind of fun. And I had this idea like shortly after he had interviewed me.
I thought he meant we were going to do one podcast once.
And then Shu came, and then he's like, dude, like, I'm gonna fucking hold you to it. And he goes, give me your number. And I don't know, within like a week or so, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put something together, and we're gonna fucking do it. I was like, dude, he's holding me accountable. Like, I have to make this happen. And that's basically how it happened.
Right. The guy who goes to comedy show and falls asleep and goes viral being filmed about it is holding people accountable to.
By the way, Sebastian just recently posted that like less than a week ago.
I know.
Again, I know.
Dom, here's my last text message to Shu on Thursday. In LA for a couple of days. I was like, how long, bro? You come into industry only? I must.
Literally, when Shu's here, there's all these people who text me just like, hey, are you bringing Shu to my restaurant? I'm like, I'm not as an assistant, and I sure as hell do not have control of where this man goes, but he goes to about 8 restaurants a day, so I feel like you're drawing live, right?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing him here. He that connection has meant a lot for me.
All right, so I don't know when this podcast comes out. We never know how this works. I think it'll come out.
I thought it was live.
I think yeah, it's being streamed
It's
right now.
streaming.
It's out.
Your mom keeps hitting the like button.
Yeah, she said, yeah. It's totally
But
blowing my phone.
look for Schezwan Club next door to Pijja Palace
Dude.
in the early fall or so, we would say fairly.
I hope so.
Okay.
For sure, bro, for sure.
I appreciate it.
Industry Only will be in San Diego doing an event in June. If you're already on our mailing list or want to figure out how to get on, send us a DM, or we can send you details about that. We launched Industry Only in Vegas last year, as you know. Avish, you were there hanging out with us at Wynn Las Vegas, or Resorts World Las Vegas.
That was cool too. I was in a fucking newsletter with Emeril Lagasse. That was like the coolest things ever. I was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
No, literally the press release. Actually, we got to talk about this for a little while. You just show up for things, and things actually are true, right? So there's a pop-up for Overstory, which was the late James Kent's. I mean, that's crazy. He died a few days after World's 50 Best. It was James Kent's Overstory bar in New York. They did a pop-up. Avish came, and he told some people close to me that he came just to Vegas, not for World's 50 Best. He didn't have a fucking invite for that. He came just to support Industry Only, which, again, like, we are not sentimental people, but he keeps doing nice, touching shit like that, so I think we're going to be friends for a while. And so, of course, if you come to support us, you're invited to everything that we're doing. So I'm just like, hey, you should come. There's this pop-up happening for this bar. He shows up at the Fontainebleau. And the thing that you need to know about Emeril Lagasse is that he is such a pro about this. It is so ridiculous. There are 3 people in my entire existence of interviewing thousands of people that have shown up or called early about things. One of them was Emeril, one of them was Wolfgang, and one of them was Jose Andres, right? It's why those guys are those guys, right? Emeril was at this thing with his son because he actually wants to meet everybody. Happy to take photos. But then the next day, a press release comes out. It just says, here are all the people that came to Overstory. And it literally just, and there's a picture, and it literally just says Chef Emeril Lagasse, Chef Avish Naran. And like, there's no explanation about who these people are. It's just like, you know who they are, and they're at World's 50 Best. And I mean, and that's just because you showed up and had like 7 cocktails in like 3 hours. And
I was talking. You gave me your wristband, so he had another. You know this guy. He has stuff to do. So he gave me his wristband, and I was drinking. I got to work on. I made sure it was used.
Right. So late summer, we're going to be back at Vegas. There's going to be some casinos doing similar things. So, I mean, I can't believe we're doing season 3 of this. I can't believe we're doing year 3 of these events. I can completely believe that Pijja Palace still exists. Very excited to do this next year, where we get to really fuck up this parking lot because we'll have 2 restaurants.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm excited for you to figure that.
I appreciate it.
I mean, that's pretty sick, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for enduring this. The reason that you're all here is starting in like 10 minutes now, so let's go have a potluck.
Awesome.
Welcome to Industry Only at the Cheese Store. This is actually part 2 of something that we tried as a fun experiment with our friends at the Mies Network. We did a live podcast recording and then a party at Pijja Palace. I'm with Avish, who's the owner, founder of Pijja Palace, opening Schezwan Club next door too. And we had a lot of fun, but you know, as we do in our podcast, like, I'm like, let's do more. Let's have Avish come to the cheese store because he's never been in this basement dungeon. He's never had Dom sit here for 30 minutes, like ostensibly doing a podcast, but just trying to sell him cheese. But there's actually a real purpose. I want to talk through the menu at Pijja Palace, which is unlike the food anywhere else in Los Angeles or arguably America, although these guys, again, did not fucking invent Indian pizza. We can get into that too. And then maybe figure out like some common ground and some cheeses and some ingredients here, some things that these guys could do together. So, all right, Dom, I know you're dying to do this. You made Avish a cheese board. Actually tell him what the cheese is.
All right. First of all, Avish, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know if you know this, but was it last week or 2 weeks ago? You popped in
Yeah,
for the
popped
first time. He popped in. I was running out to an appointment and literally almost bumped into him on the corner. He was with his wife, who's expecting. Congratulations, by the way.
Appreciate it.
And then he's like, I was like, bro, are you? Is this your first time in the store? He's like, yeah. And I don't think I gave you. Did I give you the full tour or no?
No, but Jay did.
Oh, Jay did. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Jay's the
cool.
best, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So it was really cool to have you like come in and see, and I thought that was really fun. So thank you very much for visiting too, by the way. All right, what do we have in front of us? So basically, I tried to put together just a kind of like a little bit of a lot of different flavors. When we make cheese boards here, I like to do a little bit of a variety instead of just focus on kind of one thing. This cheese over here is called Roncal. It's a sheep smoked cheese from Spain, like a manchego but sharper. Then there's a cheese called Gasparo, which is basically a pecorino made with like olives, herbs, like a lot of different types of like crushed red pepper, a little bit spicy, a little bit savory, really good. The cheese on the other end there, that is called, Olivastro. It's a sheep smoked cheese that's aged in herb and olive oil that comes from Italy. And then this cheese over here is a goat's milk Gouda. And then, of course, at the end, we have a beautiful camembert by Rudolph, we call him LM. But it's a spectacular camembert, really, as you can see, like it's kind of gooey on the side, a little firm in the middle. Then we have some mixed olives, a little dry fruit, and, of course, Marcona almonds and fresh grapes. How was that?
I'm excited.
Does that work?
Looks great.
Does that work?
All right, so we'll eat some stuff, but this really is actually Dom trying to sell you shit because he didn't know what Pijja Palace was the first time we went to the party like a year and change ago. And then he's like, wait, this is Italian-American food, kind of, right? I'm like, yes, it's Italian-American food, kind of. So I guess let's walk through that, Avish. And let's start with the dish that lots of people think about, not just at your restaurant, but at a lot of other restaurants now, thanks to somebody named Mario. Tell me about spicy rigatoni, your version of it, and how it sort of, in a way, like sums up what Pijja Palace is.
Yeah, you're right. We do a vodka style pasta at Pijja Palace. First of all, it's just a huge moneymaker, like across the board for every restaurant. Like,
yes.
Put that. I feel like a lot of restaurants should just like if you don't have that on the menu, I just question your business acumen.
Right. So you want to hear something that's funny? I mean, I don't know if I talked to you about this, but
Cheers,
Carbone was supposed to be a different type of restaurant.
Damn, this is great, actually. What the
Little
fuck is this?
Little
Lambrusco.
Lambrusco, always a nice little like aperitivo.
Yeah, so
Goes
good.
great
All right,
with
I'm gonna have a little
cheeses.
piece of cheese. So Carbone was not supposed to be the restaurant that it is. But to really oversimplify things, not even get into like what they were going to be and all that. They looked at their numbers after a while, and they looked at each other, Rich, Mario, Jeff, and the response was basically like, well, fuck, I guess we're a spicy rigatoni restaurant now. And then they just leaned into it because those guys are smart. They knew what they were doing was quality, and they also realized, shit, we can make lots of money this way. So, yeah, when you say it's a moneymaker, I don't really want you to quantify it, but tell me why it's so good for restaurants to have it on the menu, and then tell me what your version is.
Well, pasta's free. It's just cheap.
Yours is freedom?
Yeah.
Well,
it's cheap to make. And you know what? Another thing is that like for some reason, I think that like people interpret it as being to cost more than it should.
No.
There's
There's more value in Italian pasta versus Chinese noodles or Indian rice. Yeah, you could put the same sauce and serve it a different way. You can charge more money.
Absolutely. It's there's got a lot of umami in it. The tomato paste, super compact. People are generally throwing a lot of allium in it, onions, garlic. The way we do ours differently at Pijja Palace is we throw a little bit Indian masala in there. Something that all the spices you'd see in maybe like a chicken tikka masala or a butter chicken. We just toss it right in there.
Yeah, he tricked white people into paying more money for curry. It's great.
No, but I have to say, so when you design your menu, right? It's like you need hero items, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably because I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look at your menu, and it's gonna be somewhat a little bit familiar to me, but then all of a sudden I'm gonna hear something that's not. So when I see rigatoni, like I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool, like that's a hero. That's an
what do
entry
you call
point.
it on your menu?
That's an entry
malai
point.
rigatoni.
Malai
Yeah.
rigatoni. Yeah.
But that's like an entry point, right? So somebody who's like, when we designed the menu upstairs, turkey club, like you have to have a turkey club on a sandwich menu. I don't care what you do, you have to have it because like that's your entry point. That's what people get
That's what I ordered
familiar
when I
on,
came
right?
last week.
Yeah. Right.
No, but
That
seriously, so
club's
like,
good
Yeah.
too.
no, but like that's sort of what's familiar to somebody. So when you sit down and you see rigatoni, like, okay, cool, like let me see what he can do because I have a version of that in my head. And then I can taste what you're doing, and I'm like, "Oh shoot, man! Like I kind of get it. Like I'm kind of relating to this right now."
Yeah, I think that's how we kind of wanted everybody to approach Pijja Palace. Like, it's kind of something familiar, but it's also kind of something different. You know?
No, a lot of what Avish does, right? And I mean this as a real compliment. Like, it's not chefy as much as in a lot of ways. It's sort of like, a creative direction, art direction, right? Because you have this other dish that I actually like better than the spicy rigatoni, which is the I think you call it tandoori spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
And even it has the flavors of Indian food. It doesn't really have the flavors of spaghetti. I mean, yeah, spaghetti tastes like spaghetti, but spaghetti tastes like nothing. It's an Indian dish, but there's not even a fucking tandoor at your restaurant, right?
Yeah, we just try to emulate what the flavors of a tandoor would be in a pasta. So
Right,
What's
because
in it?
you
What's
think
in it? What's in it?
Because you think that I'm like, you're cooking this in this kind of oven, and then you're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, all right, well, fine. But what's in it? Because it's delicious.
Well, like, when you think of tandoor, you think of like smoky, kind of hot. We do it. We do it like a aglio e olio with.
I'm sorry, like a what?
AOP, all right,
Yeah,
stop.
AOP. My
I'm
bad.
just kidding.
We
He
do
didn't
it.
say pepperoncino,
I'm
and you're
just-
like, wow. The thing is, when he can correct somebody about something that's Italian, it makes him so happy because the rest of the time, everybody on this show just makes fun of him.
I can't even speak English, bro. I'm
All right.
in no
It's
position to correct
spaghetti
anybody.
AOP made by
Spaghetti AOP, but we do all brown people shit in there. So there's like Aleppo peppers and there's no like fresh ingredients. There's no like you're not getting we sub out there's actually no olive oil either. We use mustard oil. It's
Oh,
just
no
like
way.
it's all just everything. A lot of what we do at Pijja Palace is like what can we swap out from this Italian dish with like an Indian ingredient.
Right.
Yeah. Well, tell me how that applies to these other things because you're talking about hero items.
Mm-hmm.
There are actually multiple ones at Pijja Palace. I mean, tell me about the red and green wings because you are a sports bar.
Yeah, sports
you
bar.
love the Dodgers. You love the Lakers. This is a big part of the whole thing. You need wings, so tell me about your wings.
Yeah, wings. We just do tandoori style wings. Commonly in America, you really only see like the red tandoor marinated at every Indian restaurant, but there's a million different kinds of different ways to spice Indian wings. Some of these marinades I got from like aunties. Yeah, we bang those out. It's just like a good thing to munch down on.
Am I
while watching
dipping
the
them
game.
in any kind of like ranch? Can I say that or no?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah? You dip it like what's your dipping? So what's your?
We
Is there
do
a
a curry
preferred?
leaf ranch at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's,
Of course.
Yeah, we do ranch, but we swap out. We actually don't swap anything out here. We introduce something new, which is the curry leaf. Very aromatic, super good.
So another thing that you do, and I mean, I want to give you a huge compliment here because this is just better and smarter than the way that other people do it. Onion rings are onion rings. People understand what onion rings are. Then there started to be this chefy thing where like, well, we don't just have onion rings. We have tempura onion rings. And one, in many restaurants, it's a very loose interpretation of the word tempura. Or two, if you just realize that they're just saying that they have a fried onion ring, then that's just fucking redundant and stupid. Yours are dosa onion rings, and they taste different than other onion rings. So tell me about that.
We use a fermented rice batter. One of my favorite South Indian dishes is a dosa. I don't know if you guys have ever had it.
I haven't.
It's basically
Ever seen the big triangle?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm
it's the spaghetti AOP of South Indians.
okay.
It's
Or in a way, it's the bread and butter because you're just ripping it and dipping it.
It's it's a fermented rice dough that's kind of like spread out like a crepe, and it's like fried. It's savory. Usually they fill it with something like potato, or it can be mushroom. Sometimes they eat it plain. But my favorite part about that dish is the crispy part.
Yeah,
of the dosa
that's the
at
best
end.
part.
Yeah, I don't really like when it gets soggy in the middle. Sometimes I used to just eat around that when I was a kid. So it's just like, yo, if this is my favorite thing, let's just like fucking take it and fry an onion ring in it. Because I like onion rings too.
Uh-huh.
We grew up with onion rings. Like a lot of Pijja Palace is just like mixing things that I grew up with, like the American kid growing up in LA, like eating LAUSD food and like going to like sports bars, watching the game, like real just like Los Angeles stuff, and then just like making it Indian, like the stuff that my parents were doing at home, like just like throwing weird stuff on pizza and like putting like jalapeno popper stuff and samosas, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if the camera can get this, but there's a pizza box back here that I haven't seen before.
Are you serious?
I mean, I've seen it at Neighborly,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it here.
It was like that was like the version 1.0. I mean, it's the final version
Yeah.
of the pizza box that we're doing at Navely.
Oh, cool. So Dom is also now in the pizza business.
I'm in the pizza
Of
game,
course,
bro.
dude. I know this is real business.
Yeah.
Here. You guys got to come here because this shit is fucking absurd. There's several pasta rooms. This place is fucking crazy.
Oh, thank you, bro.
From the pictures, don't do it justice, to be honest with you, because like, yeah, there's all kinds of shit going on over
I
here.
appreciate that, bro. It's
This is
awesome,
real
man.
business.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you can. I mean, whenever you compliment it like it, you can take whatever sauce you want, like off.
Yeah, I
and
get
just-
pretty. Yeah,
and just take it with you, like Michael Cimarucci.
Yeah.
This was the whole bit that was not a bit where he's like, I'm gonna take some spaghetti, and then he just compliments Dom.
yeah. He
for half an hour,
He
and
bought his own bag.
And at the end of it, Dom's like, you can have the spaghetti, and Michael's like, yeah, I know, I was gonna take it.
Which spaghetti was it? The smoked one or?
No.
I mean-
But did you try that smoke?
We might have to throw that in the fucking tandoori spaghetti,
bro,
dude.
bro, how great is that?
Well,
I didn't try it, but Jay was telling
banging.
me about it.
yeah, this might be the logical collab. But
Yeah.
going back to pizza for a second,
Pizza. Oh man,
yeah,
nervous.
tell me about, your pizza sauces, your bases, because you make those Indian too.
Yeah, we do. They're the pizza is the kind of the space at Pijja Palace where like we actually don't think too much about it. We go more Curry House classic because like that's already a formula that's worked in places like Zante's in the Bay and like Singa's in New York and stuff. We kind of just took stuff that we like and we had seen before, and then just copied it. Honestly, like even the chutney pizza, that's not original. Like I got that from La Ventina's in Lakewood, which is terrific, and I think everybody should go there too.
Yeah, so it's so funny because you mentioned like Lakewood, and I have these things where I'll go around and like without getting too much into what food media is, but we all know what food media is. I'm just like, all of you live in LA. Had you gone to Hawaiian Gardens or Cerritos once,
Yeah.
you would have seen something and you would not have written this dumb fucking story. I don't even need to tell you what some of those are about, but you understand what I'm saying. And so, but at the same time, you want to grow your brand. You want to get all these deals. Earlier, we were talking about our friend Michael Voltaggio, who was on. You want to get to the point where, as you said so eloquently when we were on camera, where you just do shit until you don't have to do shit anymore, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Or
I think that's true. I think that's
right. You want to do that. So I guess my question is, how eager are you to allow people to craft this narrative that Pijja Palace just invented this whole genre? Because that's going to help you potentially make money, and it's going to help, obviously, like, your talented chef team and all that, like win awards and all that. Like, how much do you want to control this narrative, or do you just want to be like, yeah, whatever, these white people can keep saying we invented this shit, I don't care?
I mean, like, both of those things I don't think are mutually exclusive. I mean, people are going to say whatever they're going to say anyway. But if you're not talking to me, I feel like I have a duty to correct you. And if I see something like that, I think that like it is a narrative that like I just don't agree with, then I'm going to say something. I think that like a lot of the people that I look up to in the industry got to where they are from speaking about stuff that they thought was wrong.
Because Avish did this thing, right, where Eater published something about California Pizza Kitchen being an influence on manifold things in LA, which is fair. I actually went back to CPK recently. I mean that the new barbecue burnt ends pizza actually is pretty good.
No shot to CPK.
Yeah,
That was,
no, it wasn't about CPK.
Yeah.
But what Avish wanted to make clear is that there were Indian people making Indian pizza in Los Angeles, and that happened, completely on a different path than CPK existing. That's all it was.
Yeah, there might be.
But he
Right.
posted on
But when
social, like, just telling the eater, it's like, hey, just so you understand the context of this.
Right.
Which, look, you were at a restaurant a couple of years ago, so, I mean, I get it. You can be a little braver and not give a fuck. But it's like, at the same time, a lot of people see shit in the media that's wrong all the time. And they're like, whatever, it's the media. I don't want to fuck with them. I'm just going to be quiet, right? That's what a lot of people do.
I guess like so, did people call it Indian pizza, or did you come around? Is it flatbread? Like
I think people call it Indian. I guess I get how specific doing it. If you're a pizza, like if we call it Indian pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, but also too,
They call it Pijja.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
But I guess like one of the things to also note, but like you took a lot of little things and put it all under one roof, right? So like you're doing it's like an American style food with the onion rings and the wings, like you just said. You're doing the pizza, you're doing the pasta. Like there's like a lot of different things happening where I feel like you took a lot of what you loved and brought it under one roof versus, you're not just doing Indian pizza, right? So I mean, and also too,
it's a sports bar.
Right. Like that was I was just gonna say, like it's a sports bar. Like I don't know. It's just the whole thing is just, it sounds so crazy. Like when you go there, you understand it. Like it's interesting because I thought about this. If I were to put down on paper, and I remember like writing this business plan, when you put it on paper, you're like, what? Like, are you serious? Like you think you're going to do all that? Like, and then all of a sudden, like when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What did that look like when you put it all down on paper to try and like wrap your head around it?
I don't think that's like an uncommon experience for a lot of people who are pioneering food in America today. Like I think that most of the third culture cooking and restaurants we're seeing today kind of sounds stupid on paper. Like this sounds stupid, and even my name is stupid. Pijja Palace is a stupid name. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that like when you look at this, when I went to the neighborhood council to get my liquor license, they were like, "This kid is stupid." Like I swear to God, they were like, "This is not gonna work." Like there was this one lady who was just like, "We can't give you a liquor license," all this other stuff. But I think that like we again, I think that if people come, we try to make as much sense as possible while still like maintaining that we're just like a fun. We're a fun, stupid restaurant where you shouldn't take things too seriously. I mean,
but influenced by the looseness of LA, and the looseness of LA also comes with this seriousness, because when we had Voltaggio on, I mean, you would have loved being here, Avish, because he was talking about being the chef at Bazaar in 2008, working for Jose, and how Marcel was on Top Chef and ended up getting more famous.
People were like lining up at the pass because it was an open kitchen to see Marcel, and there's Jose behind him.
But he was talking about the relationships that he still has with.
I didn't know Marcel and Voltaggio worked together.
Yeah,
that's a crazy ass.
Marcel was the one who told him to go audition for Top Chef.
Yeah, and Hung actually worked with Voltaggio at another restaurant. So all this history is crazy, and I know that you geek out on all this stuff. But then Voltaggio said that, oh yeah, Roy Choi and I still text all the time. And that when he was poor, he would just, walk over to Jillian and just order whatever he could. And that was important to him. And then he said that John and Vinny introduced him to the hundreds, right?
Yeah.
So all of those people were doing things that, as you know, like were at that time largely undefinable. If you put those restaurants, if you like send something you deck for that restaurant doesn't exist, you'll be like, okay, good luck, right? So did seeing people like that before like give you the confidence that like, okay, maybe my idea is not as stupid as everybody thinks it is? Or did you still think, no, this is stupid?
I don't know if it gave me any confidence. Honestly, when I was like growing up like as an impressionable teenager, like looking at like some of these guys like John and Vinny and all these guys do these things, they mostly didn't seem like reachable, like or attainable, or like I would never be able to like even speak to these guys. You kind of just do shit because they're doing it,
right?
And like hoping that like maybe.
But also too, you're doing it because it's like it's what you want to do.
Yeah,
you're not doing it for any accolades.
Well,
like
you're just inspired by LA, and those guys are LA.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, that a lot of the ways that things are presented are just based on the attitude of the person and whether the person's in a good mood or not, right? Because there's people that can go to your restaurant and be like, oh, this is the Indian John and Vinny's. This is really cool. LA needs something like this. And there are people who go, this is the Indian John and Vinny's. Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
So you've obviously seen both sides of it, right? Like, how do you feel that both sides of that exist?
I think that I'm not too precious about my feelings towards the restaurant. Like,
Right.
I completely understand that, like, there are people who are going to come here and be like, Avish is telling a story that I don't agree with. Right. And I think that that's completely fine. Like, not everybody is going to like Pijja Palace. Not everybody likes the Goofy movie. Or
Bro, you're not for everybody, and
Yeah.
there's something very special about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's
That-
been many days.
that's our business mantra. Like,
where
we're not for
before his
everybody.
restaurant
Yeah.
opens, and there's like people standing out there at 5:00 waiting in line because they can't get a reservation. I mean, he's for enough people.
Can I get a
Yeah.
reservation? If I text you, I
Come
can
on
get one.
over.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted-
So Dom really wants to know about Schezwan Club, and also Schezwan Club will use any cheese because I think he's in the cheese selling business. So tell me what's going on over there.
I don't know if there'll be any cheese yet. I mean, there's
Oh,
not
what do
too
you
many.
mean?
There's how many Chinese style restaurants are in your do you have accounts with?
Bro, I mean, how many Indian sports bars are there serving what you're serving? Yeah,
I think that
we'll
there's
make
definitely
it, bro. We'll
room-
make it
there's-
happen.
Yeah, definitely. There's probably room for stuff like this at Pijja Palace, but Schezwan Club is a little bit more.
Yeah, well, tell me what that restaurant's going to be because it's like the word Szechuan, and obviously, like I know you deliberately did not choose the most common spelling or the second most common spelling, and that there are elements, of like Manchurian cuisine and all that from the last time. So yeah, tell us what that is.
A bunch of Chinese people moved to India. Okay, Calcutta.
Is this a true story or joke?
This is dead ass.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and they couldn't cook Chinese food because A, we didn't have the ingredients over there, and then B, like Indian people weren't messing with it. So they took a lot of they basically did what I'm doing at Pijja Palace, just start subbing stuff, and then that's how things like Manchurian chicken and chili chicken started coming around.
Yeah, have you had chili chicken?
No.
Shit,
No.
this is gonna blow your
We're-
mind.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We're working on it.
Well, we need to. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, where should I go to have this right now in the city? Is anyone making this?
There's a few spots in Cerritos, like walking Tandoor and like
Hey, bro, you lost me at Cerritos. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
this was a common theme the first two seasons.
No,
but
no.
and I'm going east side now.
Yeah.
I mean, Cerritos is a little bit of a stretch. but
Eater LA's been to Cerritos more than Dom has. Isn't that wild?
No, again, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just
no,
kidding.
you're good. I totally understand. It's a trek. Dude, coming here is a trek. I was like, I was almost stopped for coffee 3 times on the way
know.
over here.
Got to get on the Southwest Special.
Yeah.
No, all kidding aside though, I would love we got to be part of your dinner club, dude. You got to invite me and we'll go. We'll do like a little stint. I would love to try it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I'm making a restaurant based on this stuff.
So go ahead, finish your thoughts.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
didn't
mean,
to interrupt.
it's but it's not just that. Indian Chinese restaurants don't do like extremely well in. Oh, yeah, something I also learned the other day. This is actually not podcast talk. Never mind.
No, go. Come on,
Do you
bro.
know when I did the eater piece for Schezwan Club, I mentioned one of my favorite restaurants called Tanger Bistro. That was also down in Cerritos, closed, but that was like one of my favorite
Right.
Indo-Chinese restaurants. One of the people who owns that is partner in Jing's Sua Superette.
Oh, what a small world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in-kind funded that. Jing just gave us chili crisps for a party in Vegas. What I love about this is that like it's all one family, whether you realize it or not. You know?
You know what? I've learned in LA specifically, if you want to be a successful restaurant that nobody really teaches you in restaurant management school or even like in restaurants, it's like you got to learn how to play the game within the game.
Yeah.
Like you got to just talk to the
All
right
right,
people.
Daisy. We have Daisy coming in right now,
Shout
bro.
out
We're gonna
Daisy.
we're gonna throw a little we're gonna do a little traditional here. Yeah, come on in.
Okay, so Dom got a little insulted when I just said that these were like buttered noodles because there's a child that we're thinking about feeding, and children obviously love buttered noodles. But I do want to talk a little bit of the contrast between Italian food and what you're doing, Avish.
Yeah.
Because you say that you're subbing ingredients, but the reality is that in a lot of cases you're adding ingredients. Because in a lot of Italian dishes, 3, maybe 4 ingredients, right? And you're adding a lot more. So how do you sort of, like mentally reconcile the fact that like these dishes are very simple and we're actually going to quote unquote make them more complex because we have to add these things, and at some point you got to stop adding stuff, right?
You're right. I think there's an expectation at Pijja Palace that we're adding stuff to specific menu items. It's just because no Indian food is simple, and I think that like
Correct.
most people coming into
Really?
yeah. I mean,
Well,
It's-
do you know what a masala blend is?
have you been to an Indian restaurant?
So in full,
Oh,
so
You're putting me on the spot.
I'm going to take it. So I've never actually like besides like a takeout, I've never actually sat inside of like a. I don't. I'm not gonna call it like a Bombay Palace. Like I've never sat inside.
Bombay Palace is an example. This is great. Social content, Gabe.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. I never actually sat down and had an Indian meal in like a restaurant. I've had it for takeout.
Just you don't got it. You know, none of your friends are into it.
No, bro, it's true, man. Like I don't know. I mean, all right, growing up as a kid, obviously no, because like I grew up in Staten Island, which is just Italian food anyway. Yeah. I mean, now it's changed for
never
sure.
Went to Jackson Heights, clearly.
Yeah, you should have been to Jackson Heights.
but no, man, I take that. I've never had, but that's why I want someone that knows it to take me because I don't know what to order when I go there.
I want this to be a little bit of an education then because this is what I'm
getting schooled.
Right?
This is beyond education.
Yeah. Explain to Dom how many ingredients are in. It doesn't have to be yours in a typical masala, or that what a lot of people think is a curry spice is actually a lot of spices. That's sort of where you start, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that it can be bare minimum, maybe like 4 or 5 additional, like, because like garam masala itself could have like cumin, coriander, turmeric, cayenne pepper, red chili pepper, like paprika. Like, it gets crazy. Like, it's crazy. And they're like even adding, like, after you, like, they're doing stuff like tadkas and chank, which is like after you're done with your dish, you like temper some oil with some other spices, throw that on top. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like, it's the antithesis of simple. It's not Italian food. It's way different.
And I'm actually trying to like get you to say this to sort of make a point, right? And this is not at all about making fun of you, Dom. It's just about who you are.
It's hard to tell, Andy.
And who Avish is, right? He essentially made a curry rigatoni, knowing that a curry rigatoni, and especially now he realizes it's for real, would make him much more money than just doing this in any sort of traditional way, right? Even though he will admit that there are probably Indian restaurants in LA all over that are maybe better at cooking curry, better than cooking curry than he is, right? Italian food, somehow, for the most part, like gets this elevated price tag versus some of these other foods. But the best Italian food is great ingredients, but it's pretty simple, right? So can you talk a little bit about that, Dom, and just how, what you're doing is you're, like even Wolfgang says, right? You get the best things and you don't want to fuck them up. But why is it important that something like Avish also exists? Because he can convince people that, hey, you know what? You should pay for Indian pasta too.
No,
I know there's a lot going on there. But
that's
what I want you to talk about.
I think, look, from my perspective, right, when we source product, it's like, there's Parmigiano Reggiano, right? But there's a lot of different kinds of Parmigiano Reggiano, right? And it gets really expensive. So I feel like, when you're highlighting, 2 or 3 ingredients, like, they better be good, man. Like, they better be like the best of the best, because otherwise, like, you're just, first of all, you'll be like everybody else. And also too, it's like, well, how do you justify the price? I think it got a little bit out of hand with like the pastas and stuff, because obviously, making the pasta, if you're doing everything by hand, like that in and of itself has an inherent cost to it. But when you're talking about the quality of ingredient, look, what guanciale are you getting? You're getting like some domestic BS guanciale here, or are you getting like the real deal from Amatrice? What are you using for butter? What are you using for, I don't know, like cheese? Cheese, it's really butter and cheese, right? Or what's your tomato paste? Right? Is it grown in volcanic soil from Sicily, or is it, another, whatever? I feel like the quality of ingredients is really where, yes, it's simple, right? Who is it? Like the hard, like the harder, like the simpler the simpler I try and be with my execution, like the harder it is for me to actually cook.
Italian food, I think, is my favorite food, like in the entire universe, besides maybe Japanese food. Mm. I just think all the time about this, right? Where you even just think the names of these ingredients, right? We're saying AOP, cacio e pepe, marinara. Those are the simplest things to make. But done well, it can be sort of transcendent, and that's why people like you need to exist, right?
Yeah, well, thank you for sure. But I would also say, like, it really does come down to like the quality of ingredient, and also too, if your dish has 2 or 3 ingredients in it, you really want to shine. Like, you better be using the best of the best, right? Like that's, cacio pepe.
You should just open it just an Italian restaurant, just so I could see that P&L versus this one, right? Or the labor that Miles has to do.
But I guarantee you, bro, like you could, I feel like, I mean, yes, it's also like what neighborhood you're in, because you obviously want to make sure that you're in a neighborhood that, that the residents that live there can afford to eat at and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, like it just, I think it just depends. I think there's a lot of things in that question, Andy. But at the end of the day, like, you're obviously sourcing the best ingredients available. You're buying like the high quality product. I mean, and at a certain point, you have to charge for it. And like we said before, like, not everyone's your customer, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Right. So tell me what Indian Chinese food is, because for the most part, LA proper doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, Indian Chinese food is just Chinese. The way that so Indian pizza was something that was like kind of pioneered here. Indian Chinese food happened in India. A group of Chinese people again traveled to Calcutta.
Migration patterns always like they influence the
Yeah.
way that food changes all over the world.
Yeah,
for
I mean
sure.
that's basically the sum of it, and I think that there's also different parts. At Schezwan Club specifically, we're not doing exclusively Indo-Chinese food. I haven't talked too much about the menu, but it's going to be we're throwing stuff from Indonesia in there, Nepal. There's going to be a huge sambal program.
Oh man, that's gonna be great. You know what sambal is?
I don't.
Chili crisp. Do you know what chili crisp is?
I do know chili crisp.
So you know, like how, yeah, exactly. Like whenever you get the jar of like collaborative
Yeah.
chilies, you know that sambal is a more complex.
Oh,
version of
yeah.
it.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
And
You don't eat a lot of Chinese food either, Dom?
Dude, I love Chinese. I
Okay.
love, but I'm like I like New York Chinese food. You know what I mean? Like,
Chang, like
yeah, like
he
I'm
goes to Joss.
yeah.
dude, I
No,
should-
and I mean Joss is good.
Yeah.
This is no shade on Joss.
I do love the New York Chinese food, but I have to venture out for sure. And
All right.
But I am.
All right,
Like,
so
little
now
better.
we've got a challenge, Avish, right?
Of course.
What Indian restaurant are we taking Dom to, and what do we need to feed him just first? I mean, what I'm saying, though, is that there is Michelin-starred or whatever James Beard celebrated restaurants in New York that are pure Indian and not really fancy, but they have the level of service that, like, maybe you're looking for, right? And they'll
Okay,
fuss over
that's
you and all
fair.
that. So on one level, it should be like, all right, let's take him to like Ronnie and Chintan's restaurants, right? That
They're
would be
just
amazing.
fucking destroying shit
But
in New
here's the
York, dude.
thing. Those restaurants are so uncompromising and so spicy. I don't think that can actually be your introduction, right?
Yeah, dude, I don't
Right.
want to go like all crazy spice. Where I'm just like, what the hell?
And,
Like,
I mean, they're going to start serving him brains and testicles and intestines
no.
and shit. So what's the gateway for Dom that we can take him to in LA or somewhere else? Or
a
we-
great introduction, bro.
Maybe Bud Mosh, dude. I think Knuckle and Arjun have been crushing it.
Yeah.
They're LA institutions.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're friends of John and Vinny's and the Votagios that you've had on the show. They're a great gateway to and food. And I love them. They're two of the greatest people.
Dude, and they're 6 minutes away from you on Fairfax. So
Wait, for me or him?
no, from you.
Oh, okay.
You got to go. It's great.
They're in
All
Mid City.
right, we'll go. All right. Well, all right. No, we gotta go.
Yeah, let's run it.
And you're gonna hook up the menu. You're gonna like order everything. For
I'll
us.
tell them to be there too.
that-
I'm sure they'd love to meet
Yeah,
you.
I, mean,
I
we
would
can-
love it. I
We
would
can
love
text
it.
Knuckle right now. Be
Yeah.
like,
I would love that. Let's put that down on the calendar. Seriously.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Oh, I love this.
What should we be eating there? I mean, obviously, like, so they do some risks, right? Like,
Yeah.
they have the butter chicken samosa and the butter chicken sandwich. But I go there and I think, like, the dal's good. The pork curry's good, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
they do the standards well, too.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The lamb burger is great. The chicken tikka masala is great. Their clam dish I really love.
How did they do the I love clams?
They do. I mean, the same way that like I feel like Italians might do it a little bit of white wine, aromatics and stuff. Except all the aromatics are Indian. It's great. I think
Yeah,
that.
and
I love that.
their fish fry is good. And it's not just that they're friends with John and Vinny or they know Michael Lataja or whatever. It's that they were all part of LA getting this attitude, at the same time.
Like you're talking about 08?
Or this mindset. I mean, these guys were a little bit later, but just so you know, like whenever I was talking to Knuckle, Arjun, and Pawan, the dad, they were talking about how the first meeting that they ever took, one of the first meetings they ever took about Badmash was like at a Joseph Centeno restaurant downtown, and that's when like Joseph was blowing up. So all these guys really just like came up at similar times doing similar things. And the only other thing I'm going to tell you about Badmash is like, one, you should go to their actual mantra. And we can curse on this podcast, and we should get these guys on the podcast too.
1000%.
It's fuck your favorite Indian restaurant. And the way that it started is that there are lots of things that they don't do, right? You know, they don't give you free bread and rice, right? They don't do this plate where it's a sampler of curries, right? They don't, you know, they just don't do a lot of the standard things that you're used to. And so they would always get these people who'd come in. It's like, but my Indian restaurant does this, or my favorite Indian restaurant does this, and ours would be like, fuck your favorite Indian restaurant.
Right.
That's actually where it came from, right? So that to me is very LA, but at heart, what they're doing, like, it's LA, but it's purely Indian. I mean, and it's way more traditionally Indian than what Avish is doing because they have chosen to exist, you know, in different parts of like the same narrative of what LA is. So you should absolutely do that. You've gone to Silver Lake a couple times to see Avish. You just have to go to Fairfax to see these guys.
That's easy.
There's one even closer now, right? Isn't I guess Venice isn't closer to you. Never mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, Venice is pretty close to where you live. They're
Where I
about
live,
to open in
I'm in
Venice,
Westwood. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. You swear now, bro. This is a promise. Like, we're doing it.
You don't got to tell me.
We're
twice.
doing it.
I
Okay.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna pick a date. I love it.
Cool. So what else do you got for Avish since that you typed up all these notes?
No,
Because
well,
otherwise, I think-
did we finish did we close the loop on Schezwan Club? Did we finish that? Did we finish the?
Well, I mean, he was saying that he didn't reveal that he hasn't revealed
Okay.
that much about
All right,
the
that's
menu. And
fair.
he told us about it. and
I'm
then-
not opposed to it though.
And,
I just
and he's not going to.
Can you drop a couple? Just like drop like a couple little things. I mean, and if you don't want to, I get it.
Like, or what do you think your spicy rigatoni there might be? Let's do it.
probably the classic Manchurian chicken, or maybe like gobi Manchurian or chili chicken, things that already exist. Like like over there, I also don't want to take things too precious. A big inspiration, the level of dining I see that restaurant being at is like maybe night market or even like taking it further back, like Mission Chinese. Like I always thought that like that concept was super inspirational to me when I lived in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Danny he was adopted, so he doesn't know how to cook Chinese food, but he learned to do it his way. And I think that's kind of like what we're gonna do at Schezwan Club. Just
yeah, it's interesting that you're mentioning Danny because Botajo came on and he gave Chan credit for certain things, and it's like, look, these things are now cliches at this point because we've been talking about it for years. But yeah, a lot of these ideas and a lot of these things, they come from the same place, right?
Yeah.
If you think about how similar the stories, but how different these restaurants actually are, right? Like Night Market and Anna Jack in some ways the same story, but totally different restaurants, right?
I was thinking about this like literally the other day, like they're because both Justin and Chris are like both have art backgrounds, like their families
right.
had
They took over a family business.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. They're both terrific fucking.
And they both made doing their special thing with wine.
Yeah.
But they're just creatives at heart, you know.
Yeah, killers.
So in terms of like,
have you been to Anishak? I'm sorry I'm making this a thing.
No,
Okay.
I love it. No, bro,
Yeah.
1000%. So I've been there once, but I need to go back because it was like the Nancy Silverton pop up.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
No, but
it had to be.
There's an episode.
I can't get into these places, bro. I gotta go with one of you guys.
There's an episode that we did where he's in Cabo talking about how he likes to go eat with the people. So this is me defending me because Dom was giving me shit about, what do you mean I like fancy places? He says on our podcast, it's recorded, you can go listen to it. You know, I like to just be with the people and just go eat at their places. After he told us that he was in Cabo and he ate at Mozza and a Ludo restaurant.
Yeah, bet.
So yeah, we got.
I did eat in the jungle.
Yeah,
that was
you
fun.
did?
So okay, so I need to go. Like I know I need to venture out, but the thing is too, it's like, you know, I don't know these
love you,
guys,
Dom.
and I don't know these guys. I'm like, you know, I mean, it's a lot.
Why do you need to know them?
Because you got to get in. I can't get in the door. I'm like,
There's-
what am I gonna wait out in line with like 100 people trying to get in?
I mean,
Should we call Justin on the phone, right? I mean,
Do it.
he says this shit all the time.
I need to like get my foot. Like I need to at least get the reservation.
Justin would love you. I think he would genuinely love you
Yeah.
because like when people start to geek out on food stuff, he like
Yeah. He's dude. I said hello
you
to
met
him.
him.
I met him once.
Okay.
I mean, I doubt he even remember. It was literally like Nancy was running around doing her thing, and I just said what's up to him really quickly.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, obviously you heard amazing things about him, and I know he's definitely a student of his craft, and I love that. That to me, like, that resonates with me. But you know, sometimes it's a little bit hard to.
Justin has never worked on the podcast before. We did with William Pizzeria, saying it was a disaster, but I'm calling Justin.
Oh,
right
is
now.
this your lifeline? Are you phoning a friend?
I just want to see what happens.
Or he pushed you to voicemail, dude. That's
no,
effed
you
up.
picked up.
What's up, Justin? Hey, I'm here with Avish. We're filming a podcast at the cheese store Beverly Hills. This isn't like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm sorry to even do this to you. We would obviously at some point love for you to be on the podcast, but...
Are you phoning a friend?
Look, dude, don't take my lines, bro. I said that already.
All right, so Dom at the cheese store is to my left. He just told me and Avish that he's never been to an Indian restaurant. So we're going to fix that. We're going to take him to Badmash. He said that he went to Anajak once and that he cannot get back into Anajak. He went to Anajak for a fucking Nancy Silverton pop-up because of course he did. And he was just asking me and Avish if we know somebody at Anajak. So is it okay if I give you his number?
Please.
Oh no. Are you sure, bro? I mean, we're not putting you on the spot, are we?
No. I mean, yes, you are. But
Are you sorry you picked up the phone?
it was phone a friend.
Yeah. No, I actually just wanted to call you because like I
Amazing.
texted you a few days ago. You and I haven't spoken in a while. This was not at all intentional, but we've just been giving Dom shit for half an
Bro,
hour.
I'm taking you up on that. I'm literally gonna text you.
Yes, please do. Please do. Yeah, would love to. You know, it's funny for the Nancy event, we were using these beautiful pastas from the cheese
Yes,
store.
I know you are. Well, thank you for that.
You got to save this for the you got to save this for.
Great, and I wish I wait for the day to use them again.
Well, I very much appreciate that, Chef. Thank you.
All right, fuck it. We may be doing Thai
I
Taco
now I'm really
Tuesday.
coming in, bro. I'm definitely
Yeah, we
coming
may be doing Thai Taco Tuesday pasta night or something. All right, yeah, you guys are going to have to brainstorm that better because I just said that out loud and that sounds terrible. All right, I'm going to call you for real to catch up, Justin, but we love you. We're thinking about you. I just wanted to call you.
All right. Hey, thanks.
Thanks, Chef.
Appreciate it. Yeah, see ya.
All right,
Take
bye.
it easy.
All right, so now I got Lynn.
That one actually kind of worked.
Dude,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
yeah.
Who else could we get? No. That's awesome. That's
Should we call Knuckle right now? we can't do more than one per episode, but
amazing. No, so all right. So anyway, where were we? What were we talking about?
no, we were just talking about places that we wanted to tell you. We're talking about ways that you guys could sort of open each other's worlds. I mean, Avish should probably get some of that smoked pasta.
For
He can't
sure.
put
You
it in
just
his
fucking-
tandoor because he doesn't have one, but he'll do something.
Yet.
But
We might
I'd
have
love-
to open up a.
Dude.
I might turn one of the comfort in rooms into tandoor room,
Dude,
dude.
you 1,000% you should.
Yeah.
Call it storage.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
goes over well.
No, and I guess the thing that we should sort of leave with is that like one of the first times I spoke to you, you basically just said that like whatever you had a concept book, sketchbook, idea book, whatever. I don't just of all these things that you wanted to do. And look, opening restaurants in LA is really hard. You open one and you're opening two, and that's already a lot. But you do still think about these other ideas, and if so, what are some of the other types of things you might want to do for LA?
I do. I'm working on. Eddie from FE is actually working on the permitting for an ice cream shop that I'm working on.
Oh, cool.
We might do a little deli. I bought a building on Mid City, so I might do that. A lot of these things I just have in my notes, just in the log to open up at some point. I'm trying not to look too far past like what I have got going on in front of me, but that's always been a problem of mine.
Yeah, but those are great problems. That's why you
Yeah,
that's why you
I
get your
guess
shit
that's
dialed in.
true.
Yeah.
I agree. It's definitely tough, but I mean,
But you grew up here and you're committed to here, right? There's no
yeah. I also don't know that there's anything else I could do. Like, I think that like some of us are just kind of like addicted to like the struggle, or like even the stress or anxiety or like whatever comes with opening up a restaurant.
Yeah, I know. When it's calm, we're suddenly bored and we want to try to find other stuff to fuck up our brain. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
I don't
we-
think I could do anything else. I hated school. I just walked the fuck out. I was like, this is bullshit. When
Do you-
there wasn't parking, I would just leave.
Yeah.
Do you think like there'll be like another Pijja Palace somewhere else? Like, do you think it'll
I
take
hope
it?
there is. I think that
Yeah.
I think that like a lot of people talk to me about this and like expect me to be like, oh, I'm the only one who could do it. They're like, no, fuck no. Like and actually this is something that I learned from Knuckle and Arjun when I popped on in the scene is like they were like so welcoming. I mean like
Yeah.
that's like
cool.
the
That's so
attitude
cool.
you
LA
gotta
is
have.
cool
Yeah.
like that.
Like you gotta just be like I'm excited to see somebody else's narrative of what I'm doing. I mean, like if some other kid comes out there, because like this still isn't a popular career or something that people articulate as a career for brown people.
Right.
There aren't a lot of brown cooks my age. You don't even.
Right.
And you gotta become wildly successful to impress your family when you're doing what he does.
So I'm gonna divert for 2 seconds though.
Yeah.
So what would you tell someone? Because we have a lot of chefs that listen. Like, what would you tell someone that's like up and coming, trying to get, trying to do what you did? Like, how would you advise them?
That are Indian specifically, or
Whatever, man. It's like a chef, maybe Indian specifically, but like more like a chef. Like, because I mean, like, yes, I'm sure it's very hard for someone like yourself, but also too, like, it's already impossible to try and like become a chef to the accolades of like where you are now. Like, I mean, think about all the hurdles you jumped through. Like, if someone's just starting out and they want to be in the industry, and whether they're Indian or not, like, how would you advise them on getting a foothold? How, like, what would you, like, you didn't like school. I know that you traveled around a lot, but like, how would you sort of advise them on trying to get involved in the industry?
Wait for this answer.
I
No,
have a
'cause-
bunch of stupid stuff. I feel
No.
like I had like 3 things came to mind specifically, and
Yeah.
all 3 of them are kind of dumb.
No, but
Say all
it's
of them.
not because you're successful. You did it. So like, give advice.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna get reamed for this. But whatever.
No.
Let's go.
The first one is like, don't stop talking to don't ever stop saying the word millions or talking to the people who are making multi-millions. I think that like, there's a people view this industry as one that you can't make money in. But if you just ask all the people who are fucking crushing it advice, they're more than willing to like give it to you, and they're making money.
Sure.
Like when you get access to those people, it changes your whole worldview on the F&B industry.
You shouldn't get reamed for that. You're just basically saying that you want cooks to get paid as much as a junior associate or a second-year venture capitalist that hit one deal. I think that's valid, So, yeah, you want people to, like, live better lives. I mean, when I talked to Joy at Tacos 1986, his whole shtick was it's like, yeah, I'm playing to the camera because wouldn't it be a cool world if taqueros could just get paid the way that, like, a nice plumber gets paid,
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like tell your story. I don't think you should ever try to be anybody other than yourself in the product that you're putting out, whether it's the dining room or like the food that you're cooking, or I think that like, yeah, don't be afraid to break rules. In culinary school, they teach you how to do everything. But I don't think that like, look, the way that they teach culinary school is still very French.
Oh yeah, well no, it's all rooted in classic European technique.
Yeah, and I think that like
system, all that.
today it's all about like rewriting everything that you've learned. Because like when was the last time you guys went out and like, oh my god, like let's go get a coq au vin?
Yeah. No.
Not even you?
I mean, I had it at Spago, I think, the last time I had it.
Yeah. It's just like
Right.
Don't be afraid to like tell your story. Those things are also, I feel like, more likely to pick up editorial than like somebody doing something that already exists. Because like people who write also want to tell different stories. Like like nobody wants to write about the 50th Roman pasta restaurant that's opened up in the last week.
Right. Yeah. Cacio e pepe carbonara.
Yeah, we get it. Like it's great.
We're great. Yeah, we're in.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that we keep bringing people here to sort of like educate Dom. We should really take him up on some of these things. We should take him to Badmash in the near future. If in the
Let's go.
next,
We're going
yeah.
we're going to Badmash, and also too, like, just invite me to friends and family for Schezwan Club.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
will
promise,
definitely
bro.
do.
He really likes to be invited.
Yeah.
I do. I
Well,
won't show up, but I like the invite.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll come.
He's not coming.
Do you know that he's never had Indian food, but he's come to Silver Lake twice for Pijja Palace.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
And how long did it take you to get here? A long time, right?
But
No, meaning like from Silver Lake.
yeah.
It takes a long time, right?
It takes a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Not-
came though the first week I met you. I was like, oh fuck it, that's my boy, dude. I'm running the
Oh,
fucking.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're the
Right.
best. I love
You
it.
get to take this whole cheese board with you.
1000%, bro. You have it all.
Just because you said you're
100%.
All right.
I love
Thanks,
that.
Avish. I mean, thanks for
Dude,
doing this
of course.
twice.
You
with
were great,
us.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
seriously. Thank you for your time, bro.
Yeah, of
I all kidding aside, man. Not only are you a great guy, I know you have a lot of stuff
Appreciate
going
it.
on. It's awesome. I'm super like impressed by not only your knowledge of the food and stuff like that, but how you carry yourself and the way the way you conduct yourself. I think it's awesome. You're like a great guy. I appreciate
Appreciate it,
it.
brother.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Cool.
We'll do
That's
this
just a
at-
pump, bro. That means all shit's going proper.
All right, great.
Like, no pun intended.